It's totally dark. So
we don't see you, but we definitely hear you.
All right, I don't know what's going on. All right, I'll keep talking.
All right.
So got me reflecting on 10x is easier than 2x, and the principle of the gap and the gain, right? And so the thing about social media is that it's all about the gap, right? We see where other people are at, we see what other people are doing, and it makes us kind of feel bad about what we're doing because we're not there yet. And the principle, if you guys haven't gotten to that part of the book, is that if you focus on the gain versus the gap, it's a lot easier to stay motivated and be grateful and thankful for what you have in life. And so it got me thinking about that, right? There was a lot of congratulations over the weekend and back patting about, congratulations on a new space, and it's great and it's beautiful, and that's all cool and stuff, but nobody congratulates you. And I look at the last 4.5 years of leaving a very safe situation for a company nobody had heard of before, and being in a 10 by 10 office on a shitty plastic desk for like the first year, and then moving into a little bit bigger space, a 200 square foot space that my brother and I could fit into. And then, after that, downsizing because of COVID, and, reevaluating where we were at, and just the whole entire progress, right? If I look back on the gain, it's way more satisfying than looking at where I want to go or where I still can, strive to get to. So just remember that, like, hey, all this is great, and I'm thankful for it, I'm grateful for it, but I'm way more grateful for where we came from. And that's definitely applicable in everybody's life, no matter where you're at. Is, even if you just got started, the fact that you took the real estate exam and passed it, and then signed up with a brokerage and got it started, and maybe closed your first or second deal or whatever that is, like, look back on that and be proud and grateful for all of that stuff, because nobody's gonna pat you on the back for all of that, right? They're gonna pat you on the back for where you're already at and things you've already accomplished. So focus on the gain, not the gap. And this is the gain over a long period of time. And so it's been a grind, and Misty and my brother were here, and there's very few people that know what that grind looked like the first couple of years, and they only see the fancy office now. And so just don't forget that. Don't be mesmerized by what you see on the Instagram, because it doesn't tell the whole story. So
I love it, brother. Well, I was mesmerized by the Instagram nonetheless, because I'm proud of you, because that's amazing. But I will go back and appreciate, respect your gain conversation, because I'm 100% about gain versus the gap. For those who haven't read that book, which was last month's book, this is exactly what he's talking about, man. Appreciating. People are rewarded in public for what they do in private. All the stuff you do in the dark that nobody likes to do. That's the ugly stuff, the non-sexy things. That's the stuff that you're doing when everybody else is having fun. You're doing and grinding away. And did it.
I even got pictures of the first couple offices because there was nothing to be proud of. Like, I don't even have documentation to show you how shitty it was. So
it was a broom closet. It doesn't matter. Everybody starts somewhere. Amazon started in his garage. Look at him now. It's all about the end game, man. It's the gap. You got to celebrate the wins, right? That was the wins. That's a win for you, Dylan. I'm so freaking proud of you guys, man. It's unbelievable. Like, I want to cry, but I won't, because I'm going to drink my coffee. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm proud of you, brother. I really am so proud of you, man.
Wouldn't be here without you, man. And a lot of you guys on this call, so appreciate you guys.
Yes, love you all. Awesome. All right. Who else has got some good stuff, man? Jill, and Eric, Jill. Okay, go ahead, Jill. I was going to say it, but Jill.
This is super exciting. We have been working for a really long time on launching a show called Beyond Boundaries, and it's not really real estate related. We are so fortunate to be part of a mastermind group of like really high-end entrepreneurs that have just done amazing things, but their journeys are really what interest us. So we kind of want to bring that to the rest of the world. So we have Eric got his producer's license for a Hawaii public TV show here. And we also have a podcast, 2 podcasts, one on Apple and then one on Spotify, and a YouTube channel. And we would love it if you guys followed us. We have done some amazing interviews. We dropped a few already this morning. We've interviewed Chris and Dylan as well. I have Brent coming on. Actually, he finished his. We haven't dropped it yet. So and it's not just talking about where they are now, but it's their journey, how they got there. And it's totally inspiring. I hope you guys feel the same. But please follow us. The first 72 hours of launching something like this is really important for our analytics. And if you can review and subscribe, that would really help us out a lot, and maybe share it with your friends as well. So, oh, and if any of you have like an amazing story, a journey, you know, something that you've gone through that you'd like to share with the world, we will put it out there somehow for you guys to get a hold of us. Well, if you go on our website, it's called, it's Beyond Boundaries 1111. And you can go on there and just message me, and we could set up a time to talk. And I'd love to hear your story, and maybe we could put you on as well. So thank you, everybody.
I dropped the info in the chat, and actually the website is beyondboundariesmindset.com.
Oh, sorry.
But it's all in the chat there, so we would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. And feedback is also welcome. So thanks, everyone.
I love it. I love it. And this is another part about the gap in the game right here. You guys are literally leaping of faith. This is a leap of faith to go out and do something that I'm reading this morning in the 10X versus 2X is about your unique abilities. Jill and Eric, you guys have a unique ability, and that is key. Everybody on this planet has a unique ability, but very, very few people actually tap into it and really give it their all. You got to go off and take risks. This is a risk. You go out there and do something you have passion for, you love, and I can see it in your face, both you guys. This is what you love to do. Helping people generally want to become better and share their stories, which is amazing. And everybody's got a story, right? Good, bad, and ugly. We all got stories. If you're saying you don't, you're lying. Let's just be honest. Everybody's got a story. So I love that you guys putting out there. I'm proud of you guys for stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something like this and taking this leap of faith. So I did post it on the Team Freedom Facebook page and also in the Google Classroom. So you should be, if you're attached to both, which you should be, I hope so, you'll get the link and check it out. Please subscribe. They got some great interviews on there with some amazing people already. So look forward to seeing the rest of it. So good job, you guys. Just watching everybody in here do different things is amazing. It's like watching your kids grow and go to college and, you know, stop asking for money, that kind of thing, which never really happens. But, yeah, I'm just saying this is awesome. I love this, you guys. Let's do some big things. All right. Who else? Something good. Something new. All right. Going once. I have to call some people out. No. All right. Okay. Well, then further ado, just FYI, a couple things. We are doing a business planning clinic if you're in Hawaii on Oahu. So it's the first one we've done in person since probably 2020. I don't think Team Freedom has done anything here since 2020. That was when I brought Glenn Sanford out here. And then all of a sudden, the lovely COVID kicked in and everything was shut down. So we haven't done anything in person since then. At least I haven't had a chance to. So we are. It's I put it. Let's see. No, I think I have it. I will put it in the Team Freedom Google page and also in the Facebook page. There's a link. It's Eventbrite. Click on it. It'll be in Hawaii Kai at our gathering co-work space that we have. So yes, it is a launch for you right now to start plugging into your business for next year. I know. All right. You're still probably stressed out about 2023, but here we go. This is it. You got to start ramping up for 24, getting yourself together, right? So we'll be doing that. So those who want it, it'll be set up for us October the 12th. So anyways, more information on that later. And also plug in our book of the month. It is easier to 10X than it is to 2X. Get into that reading. I'm telling you, I say it every week, right? If you don't do anything at all and you leave this call, get a book. Get a book and start soaking some of that stuff up. It will change your life. I promise you it'll change your life. It changed mine dramatically. And I was a work in progress for sure. Still am. So the knowledge inputting was amazing. So just get into that, you guys. I encourage you anything. Get a book, start reading, plug into some of this stuff. It's amazing. It will change the way you look at things. So that being said, we are going to move on to our guest speaker today, which is Katey Dallosto. It's Italian. Sorry, I don't know if I say it right. Dallosto.
That's why I Coach Katey. That's why Coach Katey works much easier.
Yeah, Coach Katey works. She's a good friend of mine. I've known her. I met her through Rick Jiha, which most of you guys might know who Rick Jiha is. Another stapled individual who's been in the industry for 45 plus years. Super iconic. Katey has been coaching background for years, have coached thousands of agents. She's also at EXP. But yeah, she's a good friend of mine, and she's also here on the island. So we are going to let her take it away. And her personality is very dominant for those who may not know in the first 2 minutes, which is why like kind of attracts like. We just get along well because we both are very dominant. Anyway, so without further ado, Katey,
Hello. Aloha, everybody. Thank you, Chris, for having me be on the call. I've recognized a few names. I was looking through the names and who I recognized. One person I met yesterday, which is Patty Case. So I met Patty yesterday, who helped me with a recruit, which was awesome. So we just happened to be at the same restaurant. She overheard the conversation. And it's one of my favorite things about EXP is the willingness for people to jump in and help support each other throughout the organization and the world. So it was super great to be able to meet Patty yesterday and collaborate with her. So that was a lot of fun. So my background is I was a Keller Williams team leader, like Chris was, and I joined EXP as a shareholder in 2017 and joined as an agent in 2021. I'm part of Success Enterprises and Success Coaching. I've been certified through the Success program that is, as you probably all know, is owned by EXP. And Chris and I were talking about a bunch of different things. And I know you've got the business planning thing coming up. And I do a lot of public speaking and wanted just to make this a little bit more of an open forum. And I guess my first question to all of you is the answer to how's the market? And so if you guys could put in the chat, like, what do you say when somebody says, how's the market?
I usually ask if they're looking to buy or if they're selling.
Okay, love it, Jesse. Thank you. Chris says amazing. Awesome. Okay, anyone else?
don't be shy, you guys. Come on.
Come on, this is going to be fun, I promise.
Yes.
A high I, high D. What could go wrong?
A lot. A lot.
Okay.
It depends. I'll say it.
Yeah.
So it depends on what area you're in. It depends if you're a buyer or a seller. Where do you live? And I'll be happy to talk to you about the market.
Perfect. Okay, what else? Love that one. It depends. Experience shows the market depends on where you are. That's right. Thank you, Ronnie. All right. So yes, it depends is my favorite answer to every question in real estate. It also is the same thing. I coach real estate agents and mortgage people. So I actually worked for a mortgage company and helped manage in-house relationships for about 6 years. And the same question applies for what are rates. It depends. There's over 20 different items that determine rate. There are more than 20 different things that depend on the market. So my mantra right now that I'm doing in all of my trainings and coaching calls and everything is, how's the market is the international sign for book an appointment. I'll say it one more time. How's the market is the international sign for book an appointment. Everybody right now is like, I want more leads. I want more leads. I want more leads. You could put in the chat how many times a week people ask you, how's the market? If you're wearing an EXP shirt, if you, people just know that you're in real estate, you're at a soccer game, you're at a family function, whatever. How many times a week on average do people ask you, how's the market?
On the daily, and I'm driving, so I can't put it in the chat.
All right, Jesse, thank you. No, all good on the daily. So like 5 times a week, Jesse?
5 times a week. On the weekends, a little more because I'm more out in the community.
Okay, so 5 times? Anybody else? I got another 5 times in there on average.
Oh, it's regularly. If you're wearing like gear, if you're wearing a brand or something like that, it's regularly. And it could be the most inopportune times. Like I've literally had it happen at the craziest places that I just didn't think they'd ask me those questions.
Right. All right. So Dylan says at least 10, and that's just for you personally, right, Dylan? That's not counting your entire team. How many times a week your team gets how's the market? But we'll just do it just personally, right? So let's take the number 10. Is everybody okay? Chris, do you think 10's about average, right?
Yeah. If you're wearing a marketing.
If you weren't right. And even if you're not, if people just see you and they know you're in real estate, it is the most personal question that people ask publicly, because your home is the number one indicator of generational wealth and is most people's largest financial investment of their lives. And so I think we need to take that level of seriousness about the question, how's the market? Because it is deeply, deeply personal and such a large indicator of somebody's financial solubility. So we've got to make sure that these people we're taking that question very seriously. And I know I've been to every training in the book. I've been a realtor for almost 20 years. And, it's the thing where they say, how's the market? It's like, it's amazing. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. And you might be thinking unbelievably bad, but it's really a much more serious question. And we need to take it that way because the media is in some ways helping us because it's like doom and gloom and the sky is falling. And we know that that's not actually true. But how's the market is sometimes push that question. There's something else going on. They're hearing something in the news and it's scaring them. And so we don't know if they've got great grandma, they got to move great grandma into a home and they're going to have to sell her house. Their niece or nephew, their son, their daughter is getting married and they're thinking, they rent, and so it's usually it's always a highly personal question. How's the market is highly, highly personal. So turning those into appointments is the way to go. So if we say 10, and Chris, I'm just going to ask you this question, on an average year, how many weeks, and okay, I'm going to rephrase this. I'm going to say, how many weeks does a realtor work? Now, working to me is lead generation. A week that you work is a week that you are actively lead generating. So if you're at EXPCon or you're taking time out to do business planning, you're going to the business planning class, and then you're going to take another day to actually really dig down and take half a day and work on your business plan. Those are not weeks that I consider, those are not, you're working. Your job is lead generation. Your business is real estate. So the weeks that you are working as the vice president of sales for your business, how many weeks on average, Chris, does a realtor work where they're actively lead generating?
Real numbers are what they should be doing. Because there's two different scenarios there.
You can pick. I trust your judgment.
And what they should be doing is every day. I mean, I tell everybody, if you don't have enough leads to meet, match, or exceed your goals, nothing takes precedence ever to lead generation, period.
Right. If we are doing business planning and you're picking out the ideal weeks, how many weeks would be good for lead generation? And then you've got time off and business prep and, planning and events and those kinds of things. So is 40 a good number?
Let's shoot for 40.
All right. So if you are working and lead generating 40 weeks a year and you're talking to 10 people a week, that's 400 leads. Now, the only difference between a hot lead and a cold lead is time. So if every single person that asks you, how's the market, that's 400 people in the course of a year, how many of those 400 are you converting into referrals or new client, new business, right? Buying or selling. Of those 400 people, not all of them are going to buy or sell real estate in the next year. The average person knows 8 people that will buy and sell real estate in a year. And if you've had an appointment and sat down with them and talked about the largest financial investment of their lives and what are they looking to do in the short term and the long term, and really talk to them as this trusted advisor, are they more likely to refer you because they're like, wow, that was amazing? Are you getting them some sort of information and tools? I'm personally a big HomeBot fan. I was actually part of the HomeBot team when they launched. And HomeBot's a great tool for answering how's the market, but they really need you to make sense of it. They need you as the advisor to help them make sense of all the negative Nelly stuff in all the media, and to be able to turn those how's the market conversations into appointments. If nothing else, you're going to walk away with a referral because they are now looking at you in a different light than just like that person that they see on Instagram, to Dylan's point, right? And to see some of the fun things that we do, and we're handing over the keys, and congratulations to our new clients who bought or sold their home or what have you. They're now seeing you as like, wow, she's really amazing, right? Look at what she can do. And I didn't really know this much about the real estate market and what side of the street it depends, right? So how's the market? Jill, I love that about how's the market. A great answer is it depends. And I do ask sometimes, are you buying or selling? And most people say, I'm just curious. No one is curious about the market. No one. They have a very specific address or area. If I'm thinking about buying in Waikiki, I'm thinking about Waikiki. I'm not thinking about Eva Beach, for those of you on Oahu, right? So I live looking over Waikiki. Literally across the street from my high-rise building is an apartment complex that looks like a stiff breeze might knock it over, right? So it depends even on the side of the street sometimes. Where is somebody looking? What specifically do they want to know? And usually you're getting the how's the market question in a casual environment. Someone's chit-chatting with you, say, hey, why don't we book a 20-minute appointment? I can come to your house. We can do it via Zoom. We can meet at a coffee shop. Let's down for 20 or 30 minutes and really talk about the market, because there's a lot of misinformation out there right now. Would you guys agree that there's a lot of misinformation?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they need you to make sense of it. One of the things I love about millennials is they research things to death. And they get all this information together, and they still need help making sense of it. Like, hey, awesome that you did all this research and you looked all this up and you talked to people, but let me help you make sense of it all. And what is your plan? It's personal, the largest financial investment of your life. So if you've got those 400 people that are talking to you every single year, how many of them have you met with an appointment? Have you sat down with them and really looked at what their plans are? Now you put them in your CRM with a whole different perspective. So when you call them and say, hey, is it still the plan for you guys to buy an investment property in 2027? Awesome. Has anything changed? Anything shifted? What else is going on? So when you're doing your follow-up calls, because that's one thing I get realtors ask me all the time. I know I'm supposed to call my database. What am I supposed to say? Well, if you know what their long and short-term goals are around real estate, you know exactly what to say, because you're following up on the conversation you had. And hey, is it time for me to come back over to your house and do an analysis of your home to see if we need to update the value? Because maybe that you've done some updating to your home and we need to update the values so that you're getting the correct information. There's all sorts of things you can do when you're seen as that trusted advisor. But how's the market is the international sign for book an appointment. Think of those 400 leads. How many of them might have bought or sold real estate with somebody else in the last year? There's probably some. And you start doing the math on that. And that makes people sad. So we're not going to make everybody sad. We're going to make people happy for future opportunities, that you are going to take these how's the market questions and turn them into appointments. Now, when I first moved to Hawaii in the 90s, I sold copiers. I could barely pronounce the street names. It was super embarrassing to get directions. It's before Google Maps. And I couldn't pronounce the street names to get from point A to point B. And once I sold copiers in Honolulu, I knew I could pretty much sell anything because it was a nightmare. And when I would go to social gatherings, nobody ever asked me, so Katey, how's the copier market? This is the only business I've ever been in as a salesperson where people stop and say, hi, I might need your services at some point in the future. Can we talk about them? Like, leads come to us every day, face to face. They interact with our energy, with your smile, with how your interests impact you. You're usually connecting with these people in spaces where there's a shared interest, a shared environment, and that's powerful. And so take advantage of those how's the market questions, because it's super, super intimate. It's super, super personal. And these are leads. They might not be a hot lead today, but they might be a hot lead a month from now. But we don't know until we sit down and have an appointment. Okay, I'll stop for a second. That's my soapbox. Any questions, comments? I've lost my mind. Heidi?
I love this. Thank you.
My
You hear
pleasure.
me? This is perfect. Exactly what I needed this morning. So
I think a lot of stuff, honestly, when we go back to those who've been in real estate for, a number of years, we go back to the basics of things that really do work, right? Which honestly, in real estate, there's not very many variables or different transitions to selling real estate. It's pretty plain and simple if you think about it. It's black and white. But the truth is, how many of us actually are really doing it intentionally? People do it, but are you doing it intentionally? That's my kicker. Are you doing it intentionally and on purpose? I mean, are you very specific, very focused? Most people are not. Even having these conversations with people that come up to you and approach you, yeah, it might happen 10 times a day, but how many of us are really taking advantage of that opportunity and turn it into something? Probably not many. And there's reasons why. So you're not being intentional. So I get it. This is basic stuff, probably. Katey, thanks for showing that. I mean, it's basic stuff. We all know it, 101. But how many of us look in the mirror are actually doing these things very intentionally on a daily, consistent basis? That's why most people's business in real estate has ebbs and flows, is completely inconsistent and a roller coaster, because they're not consistent, they're not intentional with their activities on a daily basis. That's the cure to all that.
So I want to share, Coach Katey, real fast. Sorry, Dylan, real fast. I got excited after you started talking about the 40 weeks, 10 calls. That's 400. And if we close an average of 10%, that's 40 transaction. And on a not so bad, it's 5%. Oh, 20 transaction in a year. I got excited. Thank you so much, Coach Katey.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I see Dylan on camera.
Yeah, so I just wanted to preach on this real quick, right? I mean, this is, my team knows this. I talk about this all the time, the importance of being able to answer the how's the market question. And the it depends is okay, but do you have any specifics? Because when we're having these 400 conversations a year, to me, the way you convert leads is to prove that you're a professional that knows exactly what they're doing and that there's somebody that these people can trust, right? So if somebody asks me how's the market, I tell them, well, right now, based on the last 12 months, we're down 35% in terms of the number of units that are selling. But if you look at 2 years prior, if you look pre-COVID, we're right exactly where we were back then. So we're back to kind of a pre-COVID normal market. That was a strong market. Median price is actually up 2% than it was a year ago. And that's driven by the very low inventory that we have right now on the Big Island. There's 1,720 homes on the, or properties on the market. If you look pre-COVID, that number was 35 to 4,000 properties on the market. So we are at like 50% the number of normal properties on the market, and that's what's driving prices and continuing to keep the market strong. So I can keep going, right? I mean, I can keep going, submarkets, all that stuff, but that's the answer that people get, and they have no doubt in their mind when I'm done that I'm probably the smartest guy in real estate they've ever met, right? And that's all you have to do is go and look at your market data every month and figure out what's going on and have a couple of statistics to point to and be very clear on what's going on in the market, whatever your interpretation of that is. And you can back up your interpretation with statistics and be able to color that and explain it. So, yeah, it drives me nuts that like agents cannot talk about like what inventory is right now, what median price is, how many days on market. I mean, that stuff is like basic stuff. If you go to the doctor and you say, hey, my arm hurts, what do you think, doc? And he's like, well, it depends, right? I mean, like, is that gonna give you a lot of confidence in their ability to fix your problem? So
I like that. Yeah. And I know that having the statistics is huge, and being able to talk about like, this is what I said, there's so much misinformation out there. And I love that once a month, it shouldn't take that long, right? Once a month, take a look at your statistics and say, what is happening in my market right here? And so that you absolutely have got to know your stuff. Love that, Dylan. Thank you for
we had a fun occurrence a couple months ago. We were at our Hilo office, and our Hilo office is in a area where there's lots of homeless people that like to walk by, and like just, you know, it's one of those areas in town. And we had this homeless guy like come into the office and just start arguing with me about the market and how it's going to crash. And I started throwing statistics at him and saying, you know, what you're saying isn't backed up by what's going on in the actual market. He ended up just walking out and leaving. Like,
he must have got his information from Zillow. He said, are you on Metrolist? Just curious, what's your MLS look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a question to say too, Dylan, for those who may be on the call who do not know how to find your stats. I mean, that's a good indicator. You know to know your stats, but does everybody know how to even get on there and know your stats to have this context and this data to back it up? I mean, I don't know MLS. I don't know what Hawaii's is like. Is that what you're looking at your MLS for you, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, every MLS has some are better than others. Like to me, I like the Maui stats better than the Big Island stats. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be able to get the basic stuff, right? Median price, days on market, final list of sold price, and then you gotta look at that in context. So you know what. If you compare those numbers to a year ago, like the Big Island one does a good job because it gives you this month's, last month's, and then a year ago. So you can kind of compare, like this past month, we had 420 sales on the Big Island. The month prior, we had 340 or something like that. So it was like a huge jump in the number of sales month over month. But if you look back 12 months ago, it's like exactly the same, right? So if you're comparing stuff over time, it makes a lot more sense. You can add context to what's actually going on, because it could, month over month, it could look dramatic. But if you're looking at it over a 12-month period, a year-to-date period, those kinds of things, you know, it's not as dramatic, or maybe it is dramatic, and you've confirmed what your suspicions are.
I love it.
Yeah, the Honolulu Board of Realtors does an email once a month that sends out with some of the real basic stats, but it's right there. to be able to do that.
And please don't just repost the infographic that you send that every other realtor in town posts. Like, do a video, talk about it for 1 minute, and look smart, right? Every realtor just sends out the same infographic that the board of realtors sends them. Super boring, doesn't prove that you're an expert in the market.
So there you go. Segue into you should be doing some social media, reels, YouTube shorts. This is how you generate business online, right? Consumers are online, 99%. This is where you get the eyeballs. Good segue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So, how was everybody doing on their social media? Is this group real active, Chris?
You know what? I mean, if you want to see the king is Dylan, obviously. The guy
I know that.
with systems on everything. But, there's a lot of people who are doing it. Totally. I mean, I have personally transparency here. I started the first this year, although my buddy told me I should be doing it 10 years ago. I didn't. The first this year, I got really intentional and purposeful on it. So now I've been doing it since January, and now we're in September. So 9 months of this doing it. And I've seen a huge jump in followers and people integrating into comments. I get a lot of hecklers. I love it. People I've known for years that heckle all the time. I just love it. That's because they're watching me though, right? It's like the hecklers means you're doing something that they don't like. It's you're hitting a soft spot or a touchy spot for them. So I love it. So I keep doing more of it, and I do it even like more consistently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think,
Evan,
go ahead.
do you do interpretation of the data every month for like a e-newsletter, like how it relates to the consumer?
Yep. I do a YouTube video, Instagram post, all that stuff. And I basically just do a screen share of the market data from my MLS, and I do a screen record. So it's got my picture in the corner, and I just talk through it. I pick a couple of screens to look at, a couple of graphs to look at, and I just talk about it. So it's an easy, 5-minute video you can make every week, and that gives you content for Instagram, YouTube, your email newsletter, all of that stuff. So, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mine will be coming out this week. This month's one will be coming out this week. So it's getting edited right now.
And also, Eric Max has been teaching every Friday tech on how to create newsletters. Like I literally learned how to create a newsletter. So, yep, he did it every Friday. He's been recorded. Jump on there. If you want a new newsletter through KB Core, the tools you have through EXP, he did it. And I can even be taught. So that's to tell you something.
And by far, if you look at the analytics, like I post a lot on social media, so I have a lot of analytics, and by far the market report posts always perform better, like almost sometimes twice as good as everything else. No matter how interesting the video or the topic is, like the market report stuff always outperforms everything else.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
People want the data. People want the data, and they want the information. Does it generate appointments too, Dylan?
Oh yeah, I mean there's guard dogs here. There's the direct appointments that get booked from the YouTube videos, like there's a Calendly link on those, and they can book an appointment there. But what you cannot quantify with stuff like this is the long-term, like just putting it out there everywhere and saturating your messaging. And so there's people that may come into your database as a cold lead, Google pay-per-click or Facebook or something like that you have no relationship with. But if you're retargeting with that and you're putting those videos in front of them, like it's going to generate a conversion in the future because you're proving market expertise to a lead that may be cold, that didn't respond to you right away. So that's hard to quantify, right? Because then it generates a lead from 12 months from now. Like, yeah, I mean, you might attribute it to the video, but really that lead came in from another source that you just reinforced your messaging with the videos and the data over time. So yeah, but I mean, definitely, half of our business comes from that stuff, right? I mean, so.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think that's the you've got to find your lane. And I mean, I like what were you saying, Chris, earlier about finding your unique ability, right? And so obviously Dylan is, the statistics piece, being able to make sense of the numbers. I mean, that's so easy for you, Dylan, right? And so for other people, you're going to have different gifts. And so finding your gift and then figuring out how to convert that into some of the social media things, into the newsletter, and then how do you represent that, and absolutely being an expert at it, at least some of the basic numbers helps provide those conversations into getting an appointment. And I think we're in September now, we're mid-September. So one of the things to think about that Chris mentioned that just kind of spurred something in my head is around being purposeful. So we're going to start getting into the holiday season, right? All the decorations are out at Costco, right? So that's how you know that it's coming, right? So and even there's going to be parties, and business planning clinics, and there's all sorts of things that we're going to be going to. And a lot of realtors in the fourth quarters will be like, oh, it's the holidays, right? Well, okay. So the holidays are 2 days, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas Day. But there's a lot of holiday events. And so it makes it for the brain to be like, oh, it's the holidays. We can kind of take our foot off the gas. I actually am going to challenge you that you're probably going to have a lot more than 10 a week of how's the market questions, because you're going to parties. Be purposeful. Be extremely purposeful when you go to these parties, whether they're networking parties within the industry or whether they're with your various organizations or things where you volunteer or just friends having gatherings. Be purposeful. And I'm not saying the entire time you're going to a friend's holiday party that you're like, hi, I'm a realtor, and you're super focused on that. I'm saying be purposeful for a little bit. Maybe pick a number. I'm going to meet 5 new people and I'm going to exchange business cards. I'm going to make sure to get introduced to somebody who owns their own business. I'm going to be purposeful at whatever networking event or social activity you're going through the holidays, because this is the time where you can actually be building relationships to take things off to 2024. This is the time to take advantage of meeting new people. The beauty of this year is that we've been actually able the entire year to get together and to be together. And so people are feeling great about that. And so play the hand you're dealt. And during the holidays, you can actually be laying the foundation for a phenomenal year, because you are actually meeting and interacting with way more people during the last quarter of the year than you do the first 3 quarters of the year because of the holidays. So take advantage of the holidays by being purposeful. Being purposeful isn't so much just for a certain amount of time. It doesn't mean the whole party. It may just be you're going to hit a number or amount of time that you're going to kind of be in mentally in work mode, and then you're going to turn work mode off and just enjoy the party, enjoy yourself. You're allowed to enjoy the social aspect and recharge your batteries and have some opportunities to just connect with other human beings and friends and all of those sorts of things. So the holidays is an opportunity as well, and just be a little bit purposeful as you're going to these things. And that's a huge part of it. Comments, questions about how to double your database in the holidays is really a way to do it. Go to everything.
I just love the fact that you talked about that. I think a lot, again, mentally people get in this space when they think of holidays that it's time to slow down. It's the mental thing, right? It's time to slow down. End of the year, we work so hard. Now it's time to take a little break. Let us enjoy some of the time with family, which is great. I'm not taking that away from anybody. But the reality is that, this myth or stigma of it's slow in the wintertime is nothing more than the fact that you chose to take your foot off the gas pedal. I literally had my biggest year ever during Christmas in December in 2016 because I did different activities that were more unique to around other people's things, right? So that's the kicker, is it's all about perception and how you look at it.
Right. And have fun with it. I'm the same way. My best quarter was always the fourth quarter. I loved it. I loved working at that when so many people took it off. So you can be working your business, but I'm also saying take advantage of all the events and all the parties and all the get-togethers. And that's even with agent attraction. As you're going to all of these things, be building connections of people that you want to be part of your organization. Agent attraction during the holidays is awesome, because a lot of realtors are like, oh, it's slow. Oh, good. Then let's go meet for a cup of coffee and let's talk about your business. And so there are phenomenal opportunities to not only close business in the fourth quarter, but also set yourself up really, really well for the beginning of 2024. What we do today shows up in 90 days, always. And the right activity always brings the right results. So being purposeful about this time of the year is really, really powerful. And so I think that's something we want to talk about, is paying attention to how we're getting into this. And I think, Chris, you and I talked a lot about mindset and being purposeful about what we're doing. So Chris and I went to an event on Saturday. We went to a YPN event. It's like, okay, who do we want to meet? Who do we want to interact with? How do we want to connect? And we had it wasn't a complex game plan, but we had a little bit of one. So of just, being purposeful at an event. And it was fun. So we got to do both, have to have fun and be purposeful. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I got to go to things and I have to be in work mode and it's drudgery. No, both can be true. You can be in work mode and have fun at any of these events that you go to in this last quarter of the year.
Awesome.
Other comments or questions?
got about 15 minutes. Maybe you can throw in something quick about maybe some call to action stuff somebody can do right now. If you're kind of sitting stagnant in your business, or you're just beginning and launching your business in your career, what are some two maybe things that are great that you can really plug into and help either get it stirred back up, remotivated, or just get it off the ground running?
Yep. So the thing that I recommend that sometimes I've got to take my own advice too. I was a little lulled after in the summer a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get back to it. And the advice of people said, you're supposed to call your database. And I said, I don't have a database. Start with the names in your phone. Literally start with the A's. And I did that. So I did that in at the end of August. I started with the A's, and I just started calling people and just checking in. What's going on? How's your business? And it turned into more appointments than I knew what to do with. And so it's just taking that action. Sometimes you don't know what to say. That's okay. I called people I hadn't spoken to in years. And the response I got was, oh my gosh, it was so great to see your name on my phone. How are you? What's going on? Some people didn't know I'd moved to Hawaii. So I got to have that conversation. But just those calls make things happen. So making those calls and just checking in with the people, the names in your phone, and just check in. How are you? How is life? What's going on with you? And then inevitably you're going to get the how's the market question. And then just turn that into an appointment. And just start booking appointment after appointment after appointment. And it creates this busyness. I started doing that with agent attraction. I've been making 2 hours, more like 90 minutes of agent attraction calls and about half an hour to do my follow-up. But I blocked 2 hours a day to make agent attraction calls. And I am booking a ridiculous amount of appointments. And it's creating this momentum and this energy. And it's just been a lot of fun. So the number one thing to do is pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, call people, ask them how they're doing. Be genuinely interested. The question I get a lot, my background is in corporate sales before I got into real estate, and I went to Catholic school, so I've been selling since the first grade. And the concept around selling is I'll be like, well, I'm not really a salesperson. And I'm like, well, if you were ever an 8-year-old, you are a salesperson. So if you've been 8, all right, this is another chat question. Okay, go into the chat and tell me your favorite game to play when you were gone recess when you were 8 years old. Hopscotch, Foursquare, kickball. What was that, Jesse?
Tag.
Tag, good.
Yeah.
Basketball. Thank you, Ronnie. Tetherball, jacks. See, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, all right, we're I love this. Okay, we are connecting with our inner 8-year-old. All right. This is sales. If you've ever seen a 5-year-old, I said from age 5 to 8 are the greatest salespeople on the planet. They handle any objection because they are focused. They are focused on the result. All right. We got to be focused on getting the appointment. Getting that time to sit down with people and talk to them about the largest financial asset of their lives. And to Dylan's point, being prepared with all of the financial information and statistics and everything about their specific area, as well as knowing the trends that are happening in our overall market is extremely valuable. Yes, who is that? Your 6-year-old is the best negotiator ever. Totally, 100%. Right? So if you want to learn great sales skills, go hang out with like 5 to 8-year-olds. You'll be fine. And so we just need to capture that inner 8-year-old because it's fun. So this is what we did when we were going out on the playground. You're 8 years old, you're out to recess, you run out there, you're all excited, and it's like, okay. And so I go up to Chris, say, Chris, do you want to play tetherball? And he's like, nah, it's not really my thing. And then I go to Ronnie, do you want to play tetherball? He says, no, it's not really my thing. But and so you start talking to people, and then the third or fourth person says, yeah, Patty wants to play tetherball. Well, she wants to play jacks, but we're going to play tetherball together. The idea is that you just got to keep talking to people and show them how excited you are about your particular, and I was like, game, but in our case, it's real estate. Why? It's exciting. We love talking to people about the largest financial investment of their lives. We love talking to them about the generational wealth.
Well, he'll say yes to the ball because he's probably the tallest kid in the freaking playground.
Right, no kidding. I'm whacking over my head. That's for
nobody
sure.
wants to play Eric in tetherball. I wouldn't play you, buddy.
Eric's not competitive at all.
I mean, 6 in 6th grade. I mean, it happens.
So the idea is that get out on the playground, guys. Get out there talking to other kids and seeing who wants to play. Some are going to say, no, it's not personal. It's not their thing. And then sometimes somebody comes back and goes, you know what? I've never played tetherball before. I don't really know how it works. I'm not think I'm very good at it. It's not maybe for me. Oh, okay. Here, let me show you how it works. Let me show you how to play tetherball, right? That happens all the time. People have this idea in their head about real estate that's not true. And so they don't really understand it. And so like, all right, let's back up the truck and let's discuss what this actually is and how maybe we can help. And look, it's not for everybody. Here's the best thing about our jobs. Our job is to make friends and help our friends make good decisions. Now, here's the best part. We don't have to be friends with everybody. You don't have to play with every kid on the playground. You can play with the kids on the playground that want to play with you and want to have the interaction with you and the connection with you. And that is the best part. But the only way we do that is by going out onto the playground. And that's as simple as calling the names in your phone. That's as simple as going to a networking event, getting belly to belly. We have all this amazing technology, which is great. And I love it. And I love the social media and the YouTube channels and all of those things that are fantastic. And if you're looking for right now activity, get belly to belly, voice to voice, face to face. And that will actually start creating some momentum so that you can share some of those stories and those interactions that you do on social media and all on YouTube channels and at the podcast and the TV shows. And I love that you guys are doing all this really, really amazing stuff that I got to learn a lot of this stuff too. And so it's really, really amazing. But the idea is get out there and play and have fun. Remind yourself why you got into real estate. Why is this fun? Why changing people's lives is amazing. And that's what you guys do every single day. Even if you're brand new to real estate, if you have taken the test, you already know more about real estate than the average consumer. If you have taken and passed the test, you know more about real estate than the average consumer. So get out there and start having conversations with people because it's fun. And make it fun. And if you're somebody who is highly analytical, the fun part for you is going to be a lot of the statistics. If you're somebody who likes a party, then have a party. I believe an open house is a party. So I make my open houses like parties. So have a party, invite people over and talk to them about real estate. Call your friends and say, I want to practice my listing presentation. Can I come over and practice? And I'll bring a bottle of wine and then you can give me feedback on how it's going. I got listings doing that because when they were ready to sell their house, they'd already seen my listing presentation. Like, hey, you know that thing you came over and did a year ago for us? Yeah, we wanted to sell. Just come over and bring the paperwork. You don't need to come and do the same presentation twice. Okay. And I got to practice. So these are a lot of some of the simple things that we get out of practice doing. And when the business is slower or there's less transactions, it's like we keep staring at the phone, hoping it'll ring. And we need to just get out there and create that activity. So pick up the phone, go to a networking event, book appointments, even if they're mock listing appointments or mock buyer presentations, your brain doesn't know the difference. If you say, I do 2 listing appointments every week, I don't have 2 listing appointments. Well, go make one, even if they're practice ones, because your brain doesn't know the difference between practice and reality. And wouldn't it be great to have done 5, 6, 7, 8 practice listing presentations? And then when you get a live one, you're like, this is a piece of cake. I do this all the time. If you haven't done a listing presentation in a while, it can be like, oh my God, I have a listing presentation, right? Just get into the habit of doing listing presentations. I have to, that was my rant and second rant for the day. I have to jump because I have another call to prep for in 5 minutes, but I just, Coach Katey, I should just put my Coach
information on there.
You can find out my contact information, or you can just ask Chris where to find me.
Yeah, appreciate you taking the time of your day to come in here and kind of jump on here, Katey. I love all the scenarios and analysis use for the business and for people to really take away. Hopefully you got some good nuggets here, everybody. I really like the 8-year-old thing myself because I believe when you're 8 years old, you're very innocent and you're not jaded and you're not dragging through the gutter like you have been when you're 25, 35, 45, right? Life does that to you. And so now at 8, you're so innocent and you really don't care. You have this nonchalant don't care because you're 8. Life is simple. It's not a ball, right? So let's get back to the 8-year-old self and really just be out there. Katey, thanks a lot. Jump off the call. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Katey.
Have a good one. Bye.
You guys on the EXP Thursdays. We got our EXP Explain again. And you guys have an amazing week. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out. I'm here for anything you guys need. All right. Love you guys. Have an amazing day. Go out and crush it. Talk to you
Thanks,
soon.
Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.